Chapter 1, 9 Lives, One Beginning. The world was loud, overwhelming, and strange. Small pink paws twitched in the straw-lined corner of a dark barn, and a tiny nose quivered at scents far sharper than anything remembered in human life. Sunlight slipped in through cracks in the wooden walls, painting golden stripes across the sleepy fur of a tiny kitten, barely 3 weeks old. She opened one eye, green, impossibly bright, and blinked. Everything was new. The smell of hay, the warmth of her siblings huddled together, the soft rumble of her mother's purr vibrating through the air. The mother cat, sleek and dark as midnight, curled around her kittens, her tail flicking with a protective grace. The kitten stumbled forward on unsteady legs, her tiny claws sinking into the straw. She tried to remember who she had been, but the memories were foggy, fractured. Faces, places, words, shadows of a life left behind. Yet something stubbornly persisted, a spark of thought, of awareness, that was far too human for her little feline body. Her mother nudged her gently with a cold, damp nose. "Eat, little one," she seemed to say without words. "Grow strong." The kitten obeyed, even though she could not understand why she suddenly wanted to obey. The warmth of her mother, the press of her siblings, it all felt strangely comforting, though tinged with a whisper of loneliness she couldn't name. Between sips of milk, she tried to climb the side of the straw nest, her tiny body wobbly as a leaf in the wind. She toppled over, landing in a soft heap. Yet in the fall, her mind raced with thoughts that no ordinary kitten should have. Questions of who she was, why she was here, and if she could ever speak words again, and if anyone would recognize the mind inside this small, fragile body. Above her, her mother's ears twitched at every sound, the distant thump of hooves, the soft cooing of a barn owl outside. Every noise, every smell, every vibration through the floor was magnified, overwhelming yet exhilarating. And yet, despite the strangeness, a small part of her remembered life before this one. A life in which she had walked on two legs, spoken in sounds larger than meows, and thought in ways her tiny kitten brain was only beginning to grasp. Somehow, in this soft nest of straw and warmth, she understood one thing perfectly. She had been given another chance, another life. And though she was small and weak and entirely a cat now, the spark of who she had been still burned quietly inside her chest. And that spark, she knew, would not stay hidden for long. Chapter 2, The Butterfly. By 6 weeks old, the world had already begun to unfold in sharper colors and scents. The barn was no longer just a nest and shelter, it was a kingdom waiting to be explored. The kitten had grown bolder, her paws firm and steady, her little body stronger with each sunrise. She had learned how to climb straw bales, pounce on her siblings, and dodge her mother's swats when she grew too mischievous. But today, curiosity tugged her toward the open barn door. Beyond it lay a spill of light so bright it seemed to hum with promise. She crept forward, whiskers quivering, ears swiveling at every new sound. Her siblings tumbled behind her in their rough games, but she alone seemed entranced by what lay outside. The moment her paws touched grass, the world exploded. The air was alive with smells, green, damp, sharp, sweet. A breeze lifted her fur, carrying the cries of birds and the rustle of leaves. Her eyes widened. Compared to the dusty barn, this was boundless, endless. Then she saw it, a flicker of orange and black, dancing in the air. The butterfly floated lazily, its wings catching sunlight like stained glass. It seemed to taunt her, hovering just out of reach. Without thinking, she crouched low, her tail flicking with a hunter's rhythm she didn't yet fully understand. And then she leapt. Her paws met nothing but air, but the chase had begun. The butterfly bobbed and weaved, and she scrambled after it, bounding through the grass, ears full of the rushing sound of her own heartbeat. She forgot her mother's watchful eyes, forgot her siblings, forgot even that she was only a kitten. In that moment, she was alive, a predator, a pursuer, a creature of speed and purpose. The butterfly led her farther and farther from the barn. She didn't notice the door shrinking behind her or how the safe, familiar smell of straw gave way to the sharp tang of the open fields. She was too busy chasing the glitter of wings, her paws skimming over uneven ground, her claws tearing at the grass. Finally, the butterfly rose too high, vanishing into the bright expanse of sky. She stopped, sides heaving, chest full of the wild air. Only then did she look around. The barn was gone, her ears flattened, panic curling through her small body. The grass was tall here, taller than she was, swaying with the wind. Shadows shifted strangely. Birds cried above, and in the distance something larger moved with heavy steps. The kitten pressed low to the ground, trembling. The excitement of the chase drained away, replaced by the hollow ache of fear. She let out a small, sharp mew. The sound was swallowed by the wide world. For the first time, she realized how small she truly was. And yet inside, the spark of her old self stirred, a memory of being lost once before, in a different body, a different life. That same fear, that same helplessness. But this time she was not alone. Somewhere in the distance, she heard her mother's call. A low, commanding yowl that pierced through the noise of the field. The kitten's ears swiveled, and she turned back toward the sound, toward safety. Relief flooded her tiny chest. She began to run, paws pounding the earth, chasing not butterflies now, but the comfort of home. Chapter 3. The Look in Her Mother's Eyes. The kitten scrambled back through the tall grass, heart hammering as her mother's voice called her home. Each step seemed to steady her, away from the vast unknown, back toward the warmth of hay and the comforting smell of milk and fur. At last, the barn loomed before her. The doorway, once so small and ordinary, now felt like the mouth of a sanctuary. Her mother stood there, sleek and dark, her tail lashing with agitation. The moment the kitten darted inside, her mother was upon her, not with teeth or claws, but with a firm swipe of her paw and a low, vibrating growl. The sound wasn't cruel, but it carried the weight of warning. The kitten dropped her head, ears flat, tail tucked tight. She knew instinctively what it meant. Too far, too soon. Her siblings, who had been tumbling about the straw, froze to watch. Their eyes shone with curiosity, but none dared approach. Their world was still the barn. Hers, it seemed, had already stretched further. Her mother bent low, nudging her with a cool nose, then licking her fur with slow, deliberate strokes. The rasp of her tongue was grounding, pulling her back into the present, reminding her that she was safe. Yet the amber eyes that looked down into hers held something deeper than simple reprimand. It was recognition. For a moment, the kitten froze. The world seemed to still around her. In those eyes, she thought she saw more than a mother disciplining her child. She saw knowing, an awareness that the little life nestled against her side was not like the others. The kitten shivered. Her mind, still a blur of half-formed thoughts and fragments of a past life, couldn't quite name it, but she felt it. She remembered standing tall once, speaking words instead of mews, chasing goals larger than butterflies. That memory hovered like smoke, impossible to grasp yet impossible to ignore. Why did she remember? Why did she know things her siblings didn't seem to? They wrestled without caution, squeaking with delight, their minds blissfully blank. But she was already asking questions, already chasing more than prey. Her mother gave a final lick, then nudged her firmly toward the pile of siblings. The message was clear. Stay. Belong. The kitten curled into the knot of warm bodies, but she did not sleep. Her green eyes stayed open, glowing faintly in the shadows. She was one of them. Yes, a kitten, soft and small. But something inside whispered louder with each breath. She was not only that.